Look, it's official. Campfire Cooking in Another World is the sleeper hit of the anime season. And that makes no sense. Literally none at all, except it does. On the surface, this series appears to be a mid-tier isekai story at best, but something about it just works, man. I've got a few reasons why I think that's the case, so stick with me to the end of the video. And before we go any further, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you love anime analysis, recommendations, and breakdowns, then this channel is the place for you. Now, with all that being said, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
When I first came across Campfire Cooking and read the description, I'll be honest, I thought it sounded ridiculous. Tell me you didn't think the same. You know what? Let's read it together. When a magical realm looks to summon heroes, they're sorely disappointed to end up with a mediocre salaryman. Mukoda Tsuyoshi may not be a hero, but this conjuring error has given him a delicious power. Online grocery. I literally stopped there. I love isekai, but that sounds dumb, and I wasn't gonna watch that. Definitely wasn't gonna watch that. Which quickly turned into, yeah, let me go ahead and watch that. An episode or two in, and I was firmly on board. But why is that? Campfire Cooking has so many odd things going for it that when they come together, the series just works. Let's take Mukoda's summoning for starters. He and some high school kids get summoned to another world, textbook isekai. What caught my attention early on was the fact that Mukoda has a good head on his shoulders. The rulers of the kingdom who summoned them give their whole spiel about being under attack, but Mukoda peeps game quickly. Something about their story isn't adding up at all. Their demeanor, which is completely unbothered, and obvious wealth doesn't match with the whole our kingdom is under threat and in dire straits narrative. He then ends up with a power that on the surface appears to be pretty much useless as far as combat goes, and promptly uses that fact to finesse his way out of there. Later on we find out that, spoilers, all conflicts the kingdom is engaged in have been initiated by them as they seek to expand their territory. There are a lot of traits that make for a good main character, and for me, competence is one of them. And Mukoda, if nothing else, is competent. And that leads me to my next point. Mukoda, despite not being your typical overpowered isekai protagonist, really drives this story. He isn't looking to make a name for himself, isn't looking or interested in saving the world, has an ability that isn't all that flashy, and actively avoids conflict. He's not mad at the fresh start in another world, but is quick to realize that becoming beholden to kingdoms or nobles that he really knows nothing about just isn't a good idea. He's easily intimidated in a way that just doesn't scream main character vibes, but it works. Why is that? Like I said earlier, Mukoda is a guy that at his core possesses a great deal of common sense. He sees things for what they are and is keenly aware of what he believes his limitations are. And that, to me, along with some other keys I'm about to mention, are what ties the entire series together in a way that keeps us entertained and interested in seeing more. Now, what do I mean by that? One of the keys to this series is the fact that it really is a clever spin on the overpowered isekai protagonist trope. But Coffee, you just said that Mukoda isn't your typical overpowered isekai protagonist. You're right, I did, but the key word there was typical, because Mukoda is overpowered. Overpowered as fuck. But unlike a Rimuru, Sid, or powered up Naofumi, Mukoda can't just bulldoze opponents on his own. His power comes from the strength of the relationships and familial contracts he's able to form. So while he might not be able to dead you himself in that sense, please believe that the superpowered friend word and the slime that he keeps with him can. And that, my friends, makes for a surprisingly fresh take on the isekai genre. Hot and fresh, just like the food he cooks. Okay, yeah, my bad. Moving on. Corny jokes aside, Campfire Cooking as a series has so many quirky things working in tandem to keep a smile on your face that you can't help but enjoy it. Mukoda is apparently a culinary savant, and his access to modern seasoning and sauces makes him the equivalent of a Michelin star chef in this world. Sui is super cute and a complete battle junkie. Bella is completely unstoppable and hilarious with both his gluttony and arrogance. And the goddess Ninrir, with her sweet addiction and demands for a constant supply, have me literally laughing out loud at times. And look, Sui, Fell, and Ninrir are obvious signs that the series takes cues from some of its contemporaries, i.e. that time I got reincarnated as the slime in Konosuba. But that familiarity, rather than feeling like a ripoff, makes the series fun in its own way. At its core, at least at this point in the series, Campfire Cooking is literally about just that. A guy traveling around with his familiars and cooking food, traveling around some more and cooking some more. But in the process, he's managed to amass a fortune, become extremely powerful due to the relationships he's formed, and received the blessings of a goddess. And we're not even done with the first season yet. This is what I love about anime. You never know when a series you thought was going to be mid at best ends up being fire. You really can't sleep on anything without checking it out first if it's even remotely in your wheelhouse. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this series goes, and if you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll catch you on the next one.